Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. On the mics this week is the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
Bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 bum.
Okay. Makes no sense. No sense with what we're about to talk about.
Negative sense.
Negative sense. It makes less sense. Oh, God. On the other mic is the mighty Gantor. What is up, Gantor?
Not feeling so mighty.
Why aren't you feeling so mighty, buddy?
I've been up since 5, dude.
Dude.
Why?
Couldn't sleep.
It sucks.
Yep.
Hey, I should tell both of you guys. I cheated on you last night.
What happened?
I cheated on you guys.
Did another podcast?
I did another podcast.
Was it Ina?
No. This is a friend of mine. She's starting her own company, the People Stack Academy, and she has a podcast now. She's starting it up. I was on episode 2. So
What the hell did she want you on there for?
You cheated on us and you weren't even first.
Yeah, I know. I guess I got sloppy seconds on that one.
What the hell is she want you to talk on there for?
It was a professional podcast. This wasn't like this disaster. It was a professional podcast we were talking about.
Who is this bitch?
Whoa! She's a very nice woman who's starting her own company, and she's trying to get her brand out there, and she's starting a podcast, and I said I would help her out because we were talking about professional types of things like hiring and doing things in order to make sure you know when you're doing a good job and stuff along those lines.
I don't like her already.
Well, basically, I was being a suit, Ganthor. That's what I was doing.
Sell out.
That's what I was doing. I was being a suit.
Don't like you.
That's what I was doing. And I'm going to cheat on you guys again next week with Ina. I'm going to do her podcast. Superfan Ina.
Really?
Super pissed off at this one. So she goes, "Hey, I want to rebroadcast a clip from your show. Is that cool?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, I better get permission from the guy whose podcast it is."
Oh!
And she basically said, "Fuck you, Z-Man." She said, "Fuck you, Ganthor. Spear's the only one that matters. It's his podcast."
Oh, really?
And then I gave her the fucking stink eye the whole day, and she felt super bad about it.
You gave her worse than that, dude.
I was like, seriously?
That bitch.
And then she doesn't even want to talk to us. She doesn't want me on her podcast. Her fucking work husband.
Right.
She
Or
goes
me,
right for
Ganthor, the woman, the name
the
she
one that she has a
orgasms
fucking
about.
man crush. Yeah, man crush. She's like,
you
no,
know
I
what?
want Spear. I want the one whose mom I can fuck. That's what she's like. I want the easy option.
For the record, okay, all I said was that if she was going to rebroadcast any part of our show, that she had to have one of us on.
So you went fishing for it.
I did not. I said that she had to have one of us on, and frankly, I was assuming that she was going to have Z on.
I would assume that as well.
You know what? You took your metaphorical podcast ring off and put it in your pocket and asked her, "What are you doing?"
Well, hey, look, she chose me.
No,
that's fine.
She's dead. You're both dead to me. Fuck you.
Is it going to be okay? Are we going to be okay?
No.
She's
just going to be thinking about her when you're podcasting with us.
Yeah. What did you think would happen, dude?
I don't know. I don't think when I do these things.
Clearly you don't.
She won't play with your balls. Ganthor will play with your balls.
I'm not trying to quit you. I wish I could quit you.
You can't quit me.
Whatever. You know what? We're going to quit you.
All right.
We're going to dump you.
Okay. Well, now that you're all fired up, maybe it's a good time to get into the show.
What are we talking about?
All right, so this week, something must be done about Star Wars The Force Awakens. If you are a long enough listener to the show, you know that I am a freak fan when it comes to Star Wars.
Even if you're not a long-time listener, just listening to the last 2 dating shows about you wanting to fucking jizzle over Rey's not even tits. I don't even know what you want to jizzle over. Jizzle over her face or something.
Well, I didn't say anything about jizz. All I said is if I saw somebody...
But you wanted to.
Well, yeah, true.
If given the opportunity, would you take Daisy out the back and just show her how your dick works?
Absolutely.
Right? Is she a minor?
I don't think so. No, she's in her 20s. She's legal.
In her 20s? She can't get a beer, but fucking blow load on her head. That's cool.
All I said was that if there was somebody
we know what you said.
All right, fine. So anyway, I'm a big fan, all right? I've seen the movie. The running tally, by the way, on how many times I've seen Star Wars The Force Awakens is 6.
You've seen it 6?
6 times.
I'm trying to get number 2 under the belt, and I would like to, but 6 is holy fuck, dude.
6 times I've seen it.
Dude.
Hold on, wait.
Well, all right.
Spoilers.
We got to throw out the official spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about shit that happens in The Force Awakens. If you don't want to hear what happens in The Force Awakens, please turn the podcast off now.
There you go. All right, still here? Okay, excellent.
Still here.
I haven't met anyone who didn't like the movie. They all said it was a good movie.
I think the biggest criticism I've heard about the movie is that it rehashed a lot of the same things that have happened in previous movies. And you can't argue with that. 'Cause
No.
It's very, very similar to the other things. But I think they did it in such a much better way, though. The first three movies, and I'm talking about the only three movies,
Right.
for the most part, were shit acting, right?
Yeah?
It was a great movie, but it was shit acting. Mark Hamill, not a great actor.
No.
Carrie Fisher, not a great actor.
Nope.
And at the time, Harrison Ford, getting his chops. You know, he's getting it better, but he's at the time shit actors.
Agreed.
But it was a great story.
Yeah, agreed on all of that.
And so this movie is essentially what those movies should have been had they had the right actors and the right chemistry and the right effects and the right everything.
I think it's hard to blame the actors because you actually had a director who directed actors rather than the director who was directing the effects. Lucas has never been an actor's director. Like, J.J. Abrams always gets good performances out of his actors. Lucas, for all of his technical wizardry and for all of his movie-making prowess, not a great director of people, which is why when you look at the best movie, the best of the three of the original movies, the best one was the middle one, which was done by Irwin Kershner, who was Lucas's teacher at USC Film School. And
Did not know that.
And he was much more of a director of actors. So when people say that was the best one, that's why. The complaint about The Force Awakens being that kind of, like, it was like a Frankenstein Star Wars movie. It's like they took all the best parts of all the original movies and they assembled this, like, uber Star Wars movie, which is what I thought Disney needed to do. Disney needed to do two things. They needed to make it seem familiar, and then they needed to start something new. And that was a nearly impossible job.
Why did they have to make it familiar?
Well, because it was so beloved. The franchise, Star Wars, is so beloved. And it's so beloved by the people that are our age, that grew up with this stuff and need it to feel like a Star Wars movie. In fact, that was the common refrain that you heard from people. It felt like a Star Wars movie.
We're also adult enough to be able to recognize that all this stuff was the same. Dude, I had a trench run.
Desert Planet.
Yet another desert planet.
Right.
Another Death Star.
Like, I wanted to be afraid of that thing.
That thing was pretty fucking badass, by the way.
Yeah, but I wasn't afraid of it because I knew they were going to destroy it because that's what happened in the first one and the third one.
Well, the good guys have to win.
You could see this is why I like leaving it up in the air with Empire. It's called cliffhanger.
Yeah, but that's
Right?
what middle movies are for, right?
No, see, I think they needed to. They could have gone off so much better.
You see, the fun part about this conversation is that when you do something different and when you go kind of off the rails, it's derided. I mean, the prequels were so
No,
different.
Come on. So no.
Yes.
I mean, forget we're not talking about the prequels. I'm saying they did a lot of stuff that was awesome. Did you ever see Vader freeze a blaster bolt?
No,
you
that was
That was
a
pretty
new
sweet.
force power. That was
was
pretty cool.
awesome. That was
Yeah.
also new. They had lightsabers. Those are awesome. We all love those. They had X-Wings. But you know what? They switched the X-Wings up. The new version of it. Slightly different. They could have done things like that and told a new story. But no, they kept the same story, which is the whole point of a movie in the first place, is to tell a story.
But going back to what Spear said earlier, is they wanted to get something familiar and something new, and that's what they did. They basically set the foundation for the next whatever movies they're going to come out with. The three main ones that are going to be the sub sequels. I don't know what the hell you call them after their. What do you call it? What's the opposite of a prequel?
Sequel.
Okay, okay. The three sequel movies,
Fucking idiot.
as well as all the other fucking standalone movies that they're going to have for like Han Solo and Boba Fett and whatever else they're going to do, right?
Yep.
See, they could have
And
kept
that's good.
it familiar.
I think they
get-
did a good job. I'm happy with the starting point here.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying they could have done so much more, and they could have kept it familiar with the X-Wings and the TIE fighters and the blasters and the lightsabers and the Force and the evil villain and all that stuff. They could have done all that while telling a different story that didn't involve blowing up Death Star Part 3.
But this is no different than what JJ did with Star Trek.
You see,
He redid Star Trek in the same manner to get people interested in it who have never seen Star Trek before, and he did it in a way that you didn't need to know the Star Trek canon. You didn't need to know who Spock was or all this other shit. You could start with what he was giving you and go from there. And I think that's what they did here too.
Yeah.
If you never saw a Star Wars movie, and you didn't know who the fuck Han Solo was or Luke Skywalker was, you got enough introduction into this that you are now sold and you're on board for the next whatever movies they're going to come out with.
I disagree. I don't think they talked enough about Luke and why everybody wanted to find him so bad.
Well, that's the point. They don't need to talk about Luke, but they talk about Hans, and they didn't really talk about Leia. But they started this whole new franchise of new people, and Hans is this guy who was in it. And you're gonna get to Luke.
Han, not Hans.
It's not Hans. It's not S.
No.
It's Han Solo, not Hans Olo.
I thought it was Hans Solo.
No, it's Han Solo. Han.
Sorry, excuse me.
Wow. Jesus.
Han Solo.
I apologize to our listeners.
What was your thoughts on Finn's? Do I start? Do you start? Like his trying to get funny.
That was Poe.
Like
that was Poe at the beginning, where he's like, "Who talks first?
was
I
it
talk
Poe?
first.
Sorry,
You talk
was-
first."
Nobody would have pulled that shit with Vader. It was for comedy. Vader would have force choked the shit out of him and been done with it. And he would, you know what? I don't care about the map. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's
Killing
true.
You killing the whole planet.
Yeah, that is true. Vader would not have suffered that kind of foolishness. And frankly, I thought it was the first kind of illustration of the cockiness around that pilot. That was what you were trying to get.
That's what I'm not like. I'm not looking for. I'm looking for the darker side of things with Star Wars in terms of being afraid of people and having reason to fear and worrying. Is he gonna get wiped out or not?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there needs to be a genuine menace. You know, Vader was great in the first trilogy because he was a genuine menace.
Dude, and it started with him just walking down the hallway. He
Yep.
didn't even have to say anything. It's just, oh shit.
Yeah, this guy's a badass.
Like I'm not afraid of. Was it Snoke? Scopes?
Snoke.
Snoke.
Dumbass name.
I'm not afraid of Snoke. I'm sure as fuck not afraid of Adam Driver.
I'm with you.
I mean, the guy takes off his helmet and he's like, look at my beautiful hair.
Why?
His hair is
also,
perfect every time he takes his helmet off. And
There's
why does he
nothing
keep
wrong
taking
with
his helmet
my
off?
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what's the point of having it if you take it off? It's to scare the shit out of people.
And you all know I'm a huge Adam Driver fan here.
Yeah, that's your boy. That's your boyfriend.
I was thoroughly unimpressed with his performance in it, and
Yeah, I
I
don't
wish
think he
they
did that
casted somebody
great a
else.
job.
I disagree with the both of you. I thought he had probably one of the hardest roles in the movie to play because he had to try to be a badass, yet he had to show conflict. Right, the whole point of Kylo Ren through the thread of Kylo Ren through that movie was how he was conflicted by how he felt about his family.
Doesn't seem like he was all that conflicted.
He wasn't. You shouldn't have known anything that he had family. It should have just been, who the fuck is this freaky, scary dude? Where did he come from? And what's his problem?
And he doesn't even show that he's all that scary.
He's
like,
not.
I'm not afraid of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I probably had nightmares about Vader, but Kylo Ren, no. In the beginning, when he had the mask on in that first battle, sure.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Right? But then instantly when he had a temper, I'm not afraid of bad guys with tempers.
I liked Kylo Ren. I thought that the fact that he was torn apart about how he felt about his family.
You shouldn't have known that, though.
You have to let me go with this for a little bit.
Whatever. You're gonna hang yourself.
Whatever. The fact that he was torn apart about his family only underlined the theme of that movie. That movie was all about family, which ties into the rest of the Star Wars saga because it's all about family. It's all about the Skywalker family. And say what you will, but in the first scene, one of the first words that the old guy, played by Max von Sydow, he turns around and he goes, you weren't born from the dark side. And say what you want, but you can't ignore your family. It was right at the jump, right from the top. And Rey emphasized it later when she said, "I'm waiting for my family." Kylo Ren was talking to his grandfather's mask. You know, he was saying, "I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it, which is I have to kill my father so that I can move on with the dark side." I mean, the whole thing was about family. And I'll bet all the money in my pocket that at some point during the rest of this saga, and this is the one thing that really frustrated me, is who's Rey?
Where does Rey's a Skywalker?
It's clear she's Luke's daughter.
Well, which Skywalker is she a daughter of? Luke or Leia?
She might be Leia. I gotta go Luke.
Luke, of course.
Yeah, I would go Luke. I mean, I would have to go Luke just based on the lightsaber when Maz Kanata says, you know, this was Luke Skywalker and Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and his father's before him, and now it calls out to you. And in the forest, when Kylo Ren goes to use the Force to grab it, and he can't, and it flies straight to Rey's hand instead. To me, that's like the wand choosing the wizard.
It's not Harry Potter, but yeah.
I mean, I love the idea that there are so many different things to talk about from the movie, right? The Jakku thing's an interesting one. How the hell did all those ships end up on Jakku? All busted up and broken so that people can fly through and scavenge it. You know,
And
how did
to the Jedi Academy?
Right, what happened to the Jedi Academy? What is that island that Luke is on? What is that grave he was standing over?
Oh, was it a grave?
Yeah, eagle-eye viewers will note that Luke was standing over a grave when Rey comes up behind him.
That's clearly her mom.
Well, who knows?
Do you think Finn's a Jedi?
I do not.
Or is he human? Is he cloned? What is he?
He's a human. They did
human.
it. There was a throwaway line in Force Awakens where Kylo Ren turns around and says to General Hux, he's like, "Well, maybe Leader Snoke should use a clone army."
So then why do you discount the fact that he could be Jedi?
Finn talked about how he was taken from his family as a baby.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Then why do you discount the fact that he could be Force sensitive?
Because he sucked at having the lightsaber.
He wasn't trained.
Spears a bigot.
Yeah, that's what I am. I'm racist.
Dude,
Racist.
fucking Samuel L. Jackson was a fucking Jedi.
So he was a bad motherfucker.
Doesn't mean Spear liked it.
I liked it. Pass me my lightsaber. That's the one that says bad motherfucker.
So why can't Finn be a Jedi?
I just don't think he is. It's not that I have anything against the lad. I just don't think he is.
It's a possibility.
I think Poe is more likely a Jedi because of how well he can fly and how, his skills. They tend to be more Jedi-ish.
Oh, come on, his mind is weak, dude.
Okay. On this, we will disagree. So are you going to go? Are you going to go see Episode 8?
Of course you're going to see it.
Yeah, dude. What's wrong with you?
Well, then what? I mean, I don't understand.
I'm just saying it could be better. What's wrong with wanting things to be better?
Okay, but did you enjoy the movie?
Yes, dude. I saw it twice.
All right.
You did see it twice. All right.
I took my daughter to see it.
What'd she think?
She loved it.
Did she
loves Rey, and I can't believe we haven't talked about this. There are no Rey action figures.
Right. I mean, we saw the whole thing like that. Rey wasn't in the Monopoly set. There wasn't in the action figure set. She wasn't in any of the sets. And that's just ridiculous.
It's bullshit. Dude, I wanted to get my daughter a Rey action figure so badly, and they don't have them.
Do they not have them in stock, or they just don't have them? Because
they
they
don't
never
make
made them.
Star Wars toy makers were directed to exclude female characters.
And this was like apparently JJ was not aware of this, and all the other he's playing ignorant to it, whether or not it's true or not. But they're playing that he doesn't know any of this stuff, and that it was just all Mattel or whoever has the rights for it, saying fuck you, and we didn't think that she was important enough.
That's bananas. She's the whole core of the movie.
She's a badass heroine for millions of little girls.
Yeah,
and that's what everyone was complaining about. It's like they're all saying it's like, this is a strong female character. I want my daughter to like this. She loves this character, and I can't go out and get it for her.
Yep.
I liked when Rey was when Finn goes to grab her hand to start running. She goes, "I don't need to hold. I can run without you holding my hand."
Right.
Or like Finn sees her getting jumped by those two guys, and then he turns around and watches her completely decimate the two of them. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's just kind of looking around like, "All right then, I'll just be going that way." I loves me some Rey.
Put your boner away, dude.
I know.
She's smoking. I mean, she's a good-looking girl.
She's a good-looking girl. That's creepy. I shouldn't say that.
Why?
I don't know. Still creepy. So let me ask you guys this: where do you guys think this goes?
So hold on. So there's going to be 2 more movies on the main storyline, right?
Right.
But then there's also going to be, is it a Han Solo movie or is it a Boba Fett movie or what's the other movies? There's going to be some standalones.
The Han Solo movie. So the one we know for sure is Rogue One, and that'll be out at the end of this year. And that's the story of the rebels stealing the plans to the first Death Star.
So it's not character centric. It's part of the old canon.
It's before Episode 4.
So after the prequel, but before the original.
Right. So this might make you happy there, Gantor. The big rumor is that Darth Vader is going to be in Rogue One, and he's going to be Darth fucking Vader.
And he's going to be badass and all that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, he's going to be a badass, and some of the storyboards that people have seen include, like Vader laying waste to all kinds of rebels and shit. Like, if we get to see Darth Vader at the height of his powers and all of his, like, Sithiness.
I want to see Darth Vader part the fucking Red Sea. I want to see him be like Moses and just be like, yo, fucking water, piss off. And then he'd be like, force laser out of his fucking hands.
But we might get to see Vader in all of his dark side prowess in Rogue One. That should be later this year. Next year you get Episode 8, and then the year after that you're supposed to get the Han Solo movie, and then the year after that you get Episode 9.
But Harrison Ford Han Solo?
No, this is a young Han Solo, so this goes back, and I don't know where it sits in the timeline. Clearly before Episode 4. But it's they're looking at like 20-something actors to play Han Solo. So an origin story for Han Solo.
That'd be cool. I'll be in for that.
And then there was a rumor about a Boba Fett movie that was supposed to be after Episode 9, but there was an announcement today. Bob Iger, who is the chairman and CEO of Disney, came out and only talked about the 5 movies that they have planned on the slate through 2020. The Boba Fett movie seems to have dropped off.
Yeah, because that was my understanding. It was the 3 sequels, and then it was supposed to be 3 character-specific movies.
Yeah, they're calling them Star Wars stories.
Star Wars stories, all right.
Yeah, not officially in the episodes.
And they're going to go in the off years from the major episodes.
That's right. So, I mean, you're going to get a lot of Star Wars over the course of the next few years, and Disney is going to print fucking money with this now. I mean, Force Awakens has made nearly $2 billion worldwide.
I just hope they keep coming up with the animated stuff, because dude, the fucking not the Clone Wars, the Rebels,
yep,
is a really good series.
Yeah, and that's the fun part about being a Star Wars fan nowadays. I mean, you had the Clone Wars, and that was great. And if you haven't seen any of the Clone Wars stuff, that's like people bitch about the prequels all the time, and rightfully so. People wanted to see the Jedi at their height, you know, fucking shit up and being awesome and what have you. Watch the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I've seen most of the Clone War episodes. I like them. I love me Rebels.
Yeah, Rebels is set in between episodes 3 and 4. It's the beginnings of the rebellion, and you start to see now some of the characters from the original trilogy. They had a young Lando Calrissian show up with Billy D. Williams doing the voice.
Yep.
This upcoming episode, or it was just this past week actually, Princess Leia makes an appearance, a young Princess Leia.
And they had Darth Vader make an appearance a couple weeks ago.
Darth Vader made an appearance at the end of season 1, the beginning of season 2, and he's got his Inquisitors.
Yep.
Which are his like dark side acolytes, which I like, because what I think you're going to start to see is a tie from those Inquisitors, those dark side wielding, not quite Sith, to the Knights of Ren, which is the other big thing that nobody knows about, right? It was a toss-off comment where they said, "You, Kylo Ren, master of the Knights of Ren," and you saw the Knights of Ren in that vision that Rey had, all standing around.
A bunch of those badasses all kind of layered behind each other.
So I'm convinced that that's what Episode 8 is going to be all about.
I hope so.
That you're going to see the Knights of Ren with Kylo at the helm, completely out of his gourd with the dark side, terrorizing the universe.
I predict the next movie will take place on an ice planet.
Where do you think it goes, Z-Man? Where do you think the movie goes next?
I agree. Knights of Ren. Let's find out what the hell happened on the desert planet with Rey. Why the fuck is shit gone bad? Who the hell's her parents? All that's got to be revealed.
Yeah, I don't know when they'll do the big reveal of the parentage of Rey.
I mean, I think it's just so thickly obvious. They have to either let us know that it's really Luke, or tell us what the hell's fucking going on here. I don't think they can push that out for another movie.
I mean, do you think that the epic battle, because it's somewhere at the end there has to be some lightsaber battle between the light side and the dark side. Do you think it's going to be Rey and Kylo Ren? Because at that point they'd be cousins.
No, because they've already done it.
That's what I'm saying. So there's got to be there has to be some other menace. Like it's
got to be Luke versus somebody.
Yeah, this is where I agree with Ganthor. There has to be that Supreme Leader Snoke has to come out from behind the shadows.
There you go, Luke and Snoke. Luke and Leia have got to disappear in the next movie. They've got to be gone. That's got to be the end of their arc. They cannot continue to the third movie in this 9-movie series.
I think they make it all the way. I think certainly Leia makes it all the way. You can make the argument that maybe Luke gets taken out at the end of the next movie because he has to be like the Obi-Wan sacrifice type of deal. But I don't know how you kill off Leia. I mean,
you got to kill Leia off. She's got to be in a spaceship that just gets blown up for whatever reason.
If you kill off Luke, Who trains Rey? He's the last Jedi. He's the last one standing. Who trains Rey? Because she's got to be
maybe that's what the next movie is. Then is
she
Luke
doesn't need
Rey.
training, dude. She picked up the Jedi mind trick by herself.
You think just the Force Awakening is going to give her
Yeah.
all the Jedi power she needs?
Dude, she developed the Jedi mind trick herself, and she fought Kylo Ren and beat him.
I think Kylo Ren comes back.
Never wielded a lightsaber before.
I think Kylo Ren comes back and beats the bejesus out of her in Episode 8.
Oh yeah, I also predicted in that movie that Rey loses a hand.
Yep.
What if Kylo Ren trains Rey?
That would be crazy. Because then what? Then Luke has to come in and save. Because that would be bananas. Oh my God! If that happened, if Rey fell to the dark side and became parts of the Knights of Ren, and then Luke has to go and get the both of them back. Oh, that would be the shit.
All right, Spear just came in his pants.
So what did we learn? we need to get Spear to get a blow.
I gotta get a towel. I need a wet wipe.
So Spear's lightsaber is also a fleshlight.
Do they have fleshlights that glow like that? Because I'll get one.
I'm
Dude,
sure
that
they
is,
do, dude.
There you go. That's what we learned. We learned that if you want to make $1 bajillion, you make a lightsaber fleshlight.
Star Wars branded fleshlights.
Yes.
But it's got to make the sounds and everything too, right?
Of course, while you're jerking off.
Yeah.
I might buy one of those. Nice.
Oh, what else did you learn, Z?
No, that's enough. I don't need any more.
Hey, did you learn anything else?
I'm spent.
I'm spent too. I got nothing. So if you want a lightsaber fleshlight, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. I can't believe we're going to leave the show on that, but that's all right. You can check out the show on Stitcher Radio or on iTunes. Just search for 4Listeners and we'll pop right on up. And you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.